Finally, Link has come back to his channel.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's video is something a bit different. I've never done a rant video before. Two things have inspired this video. I inherited an old LP the other day that kind of reminded me how cool music used to be when it was physical. And I've read a couple of articles on Rolling Stone this morning, just by pure chance, about how little money artists are making with streaming services like Spotify. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the LP and show you why I loved physical music really quick, right? Look at this. So this is Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, right? Amazing album, no one will dispute that. It's not really my genre, as you can tell with the Cradle of Filth shirt, and but everyone likes it. Elton John has got good songs that everyone tends to like. Now, when you go inside the album, every song has got its own artwork. Not just the album, every single song in this album has its own artwork. And then, all the song lyrics are posted there as well. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. They've all got little bits of artwork, like Grey Seal's got like a really cool little phoenix. Don't know if that's oversaturated because of my camera, sorry if it is. Right, all this, you know, the only one that doesn't have its own artwork has got a photo of Elton John. But every single song has got a little bit of artwork and it's got the text of the song, like the lyrics. Every single, look at all the effort that goes into producing something like this. It's like a children's book. And then you've got pictures of all the people involved in it. All the people involved in it, where they played the drums, pictures of them with a guitar, Elton John, all of that. All that work used to go into an album. Even on the back, even the back is nice. They don't care anymore. Like, artists don't care what the album looks like anymore. Like, look at this. This is a Black Sabbath live album, right? It's got cool pictures on. You open up the CD. The CD is cool. It looks cool. Then, trying to get it out without ripping it, you get this, right? You get a little book. This is a live album. This isn't even an album. This is just a live album back in the day. You get a little book with all that explanation about the live performances and about the band. All of that, right, with pictures. And then you get pictures of all the live performances. You don't get that anymore with music. Album covers today are awful. Like, there's no album covers that you see and you go, that's awesome anymore. And that disappoints me, alright? But then, so that album the other day, although as much as I love that album, that Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, it's a cool thing, I was thinking about how disappointed I was. And then this morning, I read some stats and I've written down on a bit of paper just to read you through a few of them, right? Now, last year, Spotify cut artist revenue, the percentage that artists get of their turnover, by 1%. Now that doesn't sound massive when we talk about 1%, right? In the US alone, that has cost artists, across the board, $108 million a year. So Spotify has decided to keep for themselves $108 million more dollars than the people that make the music that people pay for their platform for. Now I know it's a big amount of money and it's spread between a lot of people, but it's thousands and thousands for each artist. Maybe even a couple of million for some of the big artists. Maybe even $1 million for some of the big artists. And that has been taken away from them just because Spotify wanted to tidy up their profit margin and make their net profit margin and their gross profit margin that bit bigger. I hate that. It's like the artists work hard to produce that. People aren't buying albums anymore because of how cheap Spotify is. And Spotify decided we're going to keep an extra 1% to make us even more money, right? Now, I don't know how much you'll pay for your Spotify subscription. There's lots of different formats, right? I myself pay $4.99 for a student subscription because I'm a student, right? I don't really tend to listen to stuff that I don't own. Most of the music I listen to is stuff like Black Sabbath that I've got on CDs, AC/DC that I have on CDs, Iron Maiden that we have on CDs, Cradle of Filth which I've got on CDs and LPs. It's music I already own, really. I use Spotify for the convenience of not having to keep changing discs and on my phone and stuff, right? But only 52% of your subscription goes to artists. 48% goes to Spotify to spend on their profit margin and their infrastructure, right? So if you pay £5 a month like I do, £4.99, £2.50 is going to the artists. I listen to at least 25 people on Spotify every month. They're getting 10p off me. It's nothing, it's ridiculous how little of my money is going to the artist. That's what I pay it for. That's why I don't stream music illegally, because I want to fund the artists and support them. Now, the next statistic, and this is pretty shocking, right? Your average artist on Spotify only gets $7.50 for every 1,000 plays they get. 1,000 plays for $7.50. Now, if you went and bought a single, you wouldn't play it 1,000 times. But you'd probably pay 100 maybe, at a massive push, right? 10 people buy that, buy a single. Artist gets £2.50 on average for a single. 10 people buy it, they make £25 off 1,000 plays. And that's if you all play it 100 times. Off Spotify, they get $7.50. Instead of £25, which is about $30 on current exchange rate, I believe. That's a big chunk of money that they don't get because people are streaming instead of buying albums nowadays. Now, talk about smaller bands. I've got some friends who are in some smaller bands. I spoke to some of them. All of these statistics are from Rolling Stone magazine as well. So it's not numbers that I've picked off random websites. All these stats I have taken from Rolling Stone magazine, nowhere else. So either Rolling Stone magazine is trustworthy, all the stats are right, or they're not, they're all wrong, right? Artists with under 100,000 plays per month, which is a lot of plays, right? 100,000 plays for a small artist is a lot of plays, right? They get their money held by Spotify for 4 to 6 weeks. So it's 4 to 6 weeks before they get the revenue for their plays, right? Then their record label is given the money first and then divvy out to them. They can hold it for 4 to 8 weeks. So small artists with under 100,000 plays per month could release a new album and they don't see any money for 12 weeks. 12 weeks to be paid for what they've done. Now, I know people are like, oh yeah, but they make a lot of money. 12 weeks. Imagine you went to work and your boss just says, oh, by the way, because we're not the biggest in the industry, you get your money in 12 weeks. 12 weeks is ridiculous. Now, the UK has also changed how the charts work now. So it now includes streams in people's chart success. That is to try and combat the fact that no one is buying music anymore. So they can still work out what is actually popular. And the way it used to work is every 150 streams of a single was worth 1 sale. So if you streamed a new single 150 times, that was the same as buying it once on iTunes for 99p or buying it for like 3-4 quid in the shop for the little cheap CD. Now, 100 streams of people that pay for Spotify counts as 1 sale. So if your favourite artist release a song, you need to listen to it 100 times in the first week to be supporting their chance at a number 1. The same way, to support it the same amount as if you bought one. So if you want your favourite artist to get a UK number 1, you need to stream it 100 times on Spotify in the first week. Now if that song is 6 minutes, you need to spend 600 minutes, 10 hours, listening to a single track in the first week of it coming out for it to have a chance at being a UK number 1. It gets worse though, because if you do not pay for your Spotify, so if you use like Spotify free, don't know what it's called, but if you use the free version of Spotify where there's adverts, you have to stream a song 600 times for it to count. 600 times for it to count as 1 sale, the equivalent of 1.99p sale on iTunes, for it to count towards the charts. So when people say, oh yeah, I love that artist, I listen to it on Spotify, maybe think about buying their album as well. And if, okay, maybe you don't want to buy their album, because you can listen to them on Spotify for nothing. It's not really supporting them that much. So what I advocate for people to do, if you don't want to buy the physical cool albums because they look pretty, or if you don't want to buy the digital version of the album, even if you listen to the Spotify version, Rolling Stone magazine claims that most artists make 10 times the amount of money they make from their music releases. So music releases includes sales and their streaming revenue put together, right? Also their YouTube advertising revenue if they're on YouTube, right? Those numbers put together. They claim that your average artist, and this is an average, so this isn't just Kiss or someone who's really merch heavy, or someone like that, or a band like Guns N' Roses who are merch heavy and tour heavy. They claim your average band makes 10 times the amount of revenue from merch and ticket sales to what they do out of their music. So when a band's job is to make music, they make 10 times as much money between the sales of t-shirts, which they account for about 3 to 4 times, and the ticket sales, which they account for about 5 to 6, 7 times, depending on the band. It's insane for over 90% of their revenue to come from ticket sales and merch. But what I'm going to say is, please, if you love a band, go and buy some merch and support them financially, because there's loads of, especially smaller bands, there's loads of bands that don't have the 100,000 Spotify plays to make that money. So please support them however you can with ticket sales and merch, because if you like music and if you want good bands to keep coming, like a lot of people say that music is like less creative and not as good as it used to be, and that's because they aren't being financially rewarded. If you can't make money at doing something, you can't put as much time into it. So the more money you help your favourite band make, the more music they can make. If you spend more money with your favourite band, the better budget they have for production, the better people they can play with, the better venues they can play, the better merch they can make. And the more merch they sell, the more profit they can make on each bit of merch. So after reading all that today, I just want to make a massive plea to people to maybe buy the odd single or album, right? Maybe just the odd one to be nice. Maybe buy it digitally and never listen to it and just use Spotify still. I don't care, but try. Please buy some merch and go to some gigs, because these bands are struggling, especially the smaller bands. Guns N' Roses aren't going anywhere, they're fine. But the smaller bands, you know, the little bands with your friends in, they struggle. The last thing I'm going to say, one of my friends is in a band called Thieves of Liberty. They're quite a small band, but they are awesome. If you're watching this, go check Thieves of Liberty out, because they are amazing. And I tell you what, go on their Big Cartel and buy some merch as well. Help them out, because the music industry is getting worse and it's getting more vanilla and more boring and less creative because they're not making money. So we need to support them and make things happen. Thanks. Bit of a rant, guys, but something I'm passionate about, and I want you guys to help out where you can. If you've enjoyed this and you've learned some stuff, share it with your friends. Stick it on your Facebook, stick it on your Twitter, share the YouTube link, get it out there, get it spread out to people, because people don't know Spotify are only giving people $7.50 per 1,000 views. People don't know Spotify are keeping 48% of their monthly subscription for themselves. $108 million a year in the US alone. And that isn't what Spotify kept in total. That is what Spotify kept extra to what they'd kept the year before. If we keep letting it happen, it will get worse. So support them, people. Comment with your favourite bands and how you support bands below. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. If you've enjoyed that, you can click up here and you can watch another video of mine. Or if you really love it, if you really, really love it, or even if you just like it a little bit, go down here and subscribe to the channel. It means you'll never ever miss what is coming up real soon.